Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Valley Vlog. We're of course on a cruise ship leaving out of San Pedro, California on our way down to Mexico. That's the USS Iowa right there. It's a great ship you should check out sometime. You should also check out this wonderful ocean view. And look at the size of that balcony. It's huge. Well, it's not our balcony, it's our neighbor's. This is our balcony. It's a little bit smaller, but I think a lot better, because it's the one place that I can find my dad. We have a few days before we get down to our destination, and I can find no other better place to stay than getting some fresh air and chatting it up with Dad. It's the main reason I make the Valley Vlogs in the first place. Now this vlog is actually two separate visits I made down to Mazatlan that I've combined for storytelling. Hopefully it's not too confusing. But the cruise port terminal of Mazatlan is pretty much standard you'd find in the area. Lots of food and shopping and drink and entertainment and all the merchandise you could possibly purchase. It's self-enclosed, and even though there are some people who like to stay in the area, I like to get on a tour or an excursion and head out. In this case, I was going to do it by foot. And all I had to do is get outside and look for the signs, and it told me exactly where I should go. There was a blue painted line, and I was told if I followed this line, it would take me right into town. Actually, there was a whole bunch of people following the blue line, just not by foot. The blue line is an easy walk, and it takes you through a very nice residential area. I noticed everybody had a dog, and the dogs noticed me too. After just a short walk, the blue line ended and I found myself in the city's historic center, which is a beautiful plaza filled with quaint sidewalk cafes, strolling musicians, and vendors galore. It was wonderful. I learned here that Mazatlan was established in 1531, and the name comes from an Aztec word which means place of deer. So now you know. But this wasn't where I was wanting to go. I wanted to go farther than that. I was going to have to do a lot more walking, but that was okay, because I knew it was going to take me by the impressive cliffs near the water's edge. What I was looking for specifically was the Malecón, which is a stone-built embankment or esplanade along the water's front. Now you can find these in other countries, but I think the one in Mazatlan is exceptionally beautiful. It's a great place to walk in the sand and even get a suntan. But I didn't have time for that. No, I had a destination in mind, but I still had enough time to go down to the water's edge and look for the tide pools, which is something I always enjoy doing. As I walked along the water's edge, I noticed up ahead a strange concrete structure. It was actually a slide, and it was part of a historic landmark. The facility dates all the way back to 1950, even though it's been rebuilt a few times. But it's a saltwater pool, and it's still in use to this day. While you're enjoying the view of the sea, you can also check out the myriad of public artworks that are placed along the Malecón. One of my favorites is sort of a Hollywood Walk of Fame, but in Mazatlan, and it features all of the artists and performers that are native to Mazatlan. Of the city's creative community, probably the most famous was Jose Aragon, world-renowned singer and guitarist. As I was checking out the ocean, I noticed across the street several people were collecting at the mouth of what appeared to be a cave. I was told the local folklore that the Cave of the Devil was a famous cave, and that it had been visited by many pirates and ne'er-do-wells. Its popular, colorful gate was only added to keep the many tourists away from seeking its countless buried treasures. Upon inspection, I found it wasn't that way at all. Actually, the cave only goes in a few feet, and the gate had been put up in recent memory just to keep out illicit activity. But still, it was a fun place to take a picture. Getting back to the ocean, though, I noticed off in the distance these wonderful sea stacks. It had a staircase going all the way up to the top for a great view, and I figured I'd do the same. The only scary part was actually going back down, which was pretty steep, but I made it out alive and I'm glad I went up. At this point, my dogs were starting to bark, and I was starting to feel the strain of the heat too, and I figured that it was time for a new mode of transportation. Walking just wasn't going to cut it. Many times I find that there's special ways of getting around in different cities. And when you're in Mazatlan, you have to ride its most famous vehicle, the Pulmonia. Now think of the word pneumonia because it's an open-air vehicle, and it could be a little wild and some people even get sick on them. But I always think it's a thrilling ride, and the drivers are always very pleasant. Now, in order for me to get to where I wanted to go, I had to stop in the Gold Zone, which is a very popular area for shopping of jewelry and food and drink. A place I always like to stop in the Gold Zone is called Seashell City Museum. Now say that 3 times fast. As the name implies, there's a heck of a lot of seashells there. You can find every kind of shell you'd ever want and in every configuration. Opening its doors for the first time in 1979, the Seashell City Museum has become a landmark into its own of the Gold Zone. And with that, it's on to my main destination, which is just a few feet away.
Well, this is Playa Mazatlan, right in the middle of the Gold Zone. And it's a resort that's been here for a while. Actually, they say a lot of Hollywood elite have come down here over the years, like John Wayne and such. It's a beautiful place to hang out, and the beach is wonderful. Let's go.
I found out about Hotel Playa Mazatlan because my parents used to come down here every year. And now that I come down, I figured I'd stop by, at least for a little bit, to have lunch and check out the ocean. I enjoy the restaurant there, La Terraza, and since the resort is all-inclusive many times, there's plenty of food to eat, and the view is wonderful. When I'm on a tight schedule and only can stay a little bit, after I have lunch, I usually go up to the patio up above to survey the beautiful beach. As a kid, I was always told you had to wait 30 minutes after you ate before you went down to the water, but I can't wait, so I'm going to go check it out now.
Well, this is perfect Mazatlan. The waves are wonderful, the water is cool, and the beach is fine.
Now, if you don't like sand between your toes, well, the hotel has a bunch of pools you can check out. Just rinse your feet off first. It's usually the last place I go before I head back, and it's a very peaceful place to me. Even though I was never at the resort when my parents were, just being here makes me think of them. Speaking of which, my mother was very camera shy, so this is a pretty rare photo of her at La Terraza. And here's a photo of my mother and father also at the resort. The one story they always told me about was when a storm came in and removed the beach. This is the only photo I could find of that. You can see it's all fixed and a lot different now. And that's why I like it.
Well, I've had a great time here at Playa Mazatlan, the resort, and now I have to get on a taxi and head back to the ship, so come on, let's go.
Thank you so much for watching the video to the very end. If you enjoyed the Valley vlog, well, here's a few others you might enjoy. But most important, a very big thank you to all those who liked, subscribed, and left positive comments about the videos. It's made them a joy to make. And if you are a subscriber, well, look for that little bell icon and make sure to press it so you'll be notified the next time a video comes out. So thank you again, and we'll see you next time.